Most people live like sheep. They follow routines, seek approval and fear standing alone. They hide in the comfort of the flock, mistaking safety for strength, never realizing that by doing so they surrender their freedom. But a few walk differently. A few walk as wolves, unseen, feared, and obeyed. Niccolo Machiavelli once wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. That is not philosophy. That is survival. And if you want power, control, and freedom in a world built on illusions, you must learn to be the wolf among the sheep. Think about the last time you watched people make a decision together. Did they think for themselves, or did they wait for someone else to speak first? Desperate for a signal, afraid of standing apart? That hesitation, that silence, that desperate look to the majority is the mark of the herd. And once you learn to see it, you can never unsee it. It is everywhere. In boardrooms, in classrooms, in families, in groups of friends. People who would rather be liked than be respected. People who fear judgment more than they fear failure. The herd instinct makes them predictable, and predictability is the beginning of control. The sheep show you where they are going before they move. All you need to do is guide them without ever letting them realize they are being guided. When co-workers complain about a problem but no one dares to act, you step forward. Not because your solution is the best, but because no one else dares. And suddenly the herd follows you. They follow not because of admiration, not because of trust, but because they fear making a decision on their own. This is the hidden law. The one who dares to move first controls those who fear to move at all. Machiavelli warned that a ruler must imitate both the lion and the fox. The lion has strength, but strength alone inspires rebellion. The fox has cunning, and cunning survives where brute force fails. A wolf is both. He does not bare his teeth at every moment. He hides among the flock, smiling, harmless until the strike. Consider this in daily life. At a party, instead of talking endlessly about yourself, you listen. You let others reveal themselves. You feed their ego. You nod. You mirror. Later, they describe you as charismatic, intelligent, and trustworthy. They cannot explain why, because you gave them nothing. Instead, you took everything: their information, their trust, their guard lowered. Charm is not about dazzling people with who you are. Charm is the mask that makes people comfortable enough to reveal themselves, and the wolf wears it well. But charm alone is never enough. Sheep move for only two reasons: fear of the whip or the lure of the carrot. Machiavelli wrote that men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. The wolf uses both. Fear makes people reliable. Desire makes them betray themselves. In negotiation, instead of saying you need a deal, you say, "I'm already speaking with others, but I thought of giving you the first chance." In that single sentence, you awaken fear of losing and desire to gain. And suddenly the sheep convinces himself to serve you. In dating, the same principle applies. The sheep reveals everything too quickly, too desperately. But the wolf withholds. He creates mystery. He creates distance. And the more he withholds, the more the sheep pursues. Desire is not created by giving everything away. Desire is created by holding something back. If you are beginning to understand this, stay with me, because what comes next separates the pretenders from those who truly understand power. A wolf never attacks the herd directly. He separates, isolates, and then he conquers. Machiavelli advised rulers to divide their subjects, to keep them disunited and to make them dependent. This is not only politics, it is life. In the office, when two people disagree, you do not silence the conflict. You amplify it. You ask questions that highlight their differences. You step back and let the division grow. While they fight each other, your influence grows untouched. The herd is weaker together but helpless apart. History itself confirms this. Julius Caesar did not march into Rome with brute force alone. He divided senators with promises, won soldiers with gifts, and made the people love him by granting mercy. Rome fell not because of one decisive battle, but because Caesar fractured loyalty from within. The wolf does not destroy the herd with strength. He breaks it by dividing its trust and then collects the pieces. Patience is another weapon. Most people chase constantly approval, money, validation. They cannot sit still, they cannot wait. But the wolf does not waste energy. He watches, he studies, and he strikes when resistance is weakest. Instead of asking for a raise immediately, he builds quiet leverage. He takes on responsibilities no one else wants. He makes himself indispensable until the company cannot function without him. And only then, when refusal is impossible, does he make his move. Patience in the hands of the wolf is not passivity. It is the sharpest blade. Machiavelli observed that promises are tools, not chains. He wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." The wolf does not feel guilt for breaking promises when circumstances demand it. The sheep believes words are sacred. The wolf knows words are weapons, to be used and abandoned as needed. This is not dishonor, it is realism. For the wolf, morality is a luxury the herd can afford. For him, survival and dominance matter more. But sometimes cruelty is not the best weapon. Sometimes the wolf spares the sheep. Not from compassion, but from calculation. Machiavelli noted that men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. People forget pain and cruelty, but they never forget kindness when it saves them. When someone fails you and you grant forgiveness instead of punishment, you bind them to you. They expected wrath, but you gave mercy, and now they are loyal, guilty, grateful, and desperate to prove themselves. Mercy becomes a chain stronger than fear. Even in friendships, this is true. When a friend betrays you once and you forgive, they live in a quiet debt, always seeking to repay it. You did not lose power, you gained it. Yet there is a power greater than fear and greater than mercy: invisibility. The wolf's highest form of control is not domination, but shadows. The sheep believes he is free, while unknowingly serving the wolf's will. This is true mastery. When people obey without realizing it, when they fight for your idea believing it was theirs. In a group project, instead of saying, "Here's my plan," you plant the seed subtly, you suggest lightly, and then you let someone else claim it. They defend it, they spread it, they bleed for it, and all along you guide the outcome unseen. The herd believes they are free, but the wolf already wrote the script. This extends even into relationships. A sheep says, we should go here, we should do this, we should decide that. But the wolf never commands directly. He suggests, he plants. He allows the other to believe it was their choice. And because they believe it, they fight harder for it. This is not manipulation. This is mastery. For the one who controls perception controls reality. So ask yourself, will you keep moving with the flock, blind and safe, never questioning why you live the way you do? Or will you walk as the wolf, hidden, patient, untouchable, feared by some, admired by others, and obeyed by all? Machiavelli's lesson is clear. Power does not belong to the many. It belongs to the few who dare to see the world as it is, without illusions, without false morality, without the comfort of lies. If you want more truths that the herd cannot handle, subscribe now. Join the wolves and leave the sheep behind.